Tailgates and ready to go. Welcome into this Victory Tuesday edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Powered by Chad Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We got a loaded show on tap as we continue to celebrate that Chiefs win from last night over the New Orleans Saints, 26-13. If you missed it earlier on the channel, we have our instant reaction vid from last night. We also have our overreaction vid that we put out this afternoon. Encourage you, once we're done with this show, to go check those out on the channel for continuing Chiefs coverage on the victory over the Saints last night. Today, we're going to go over the latest news and rumors on your Kansas City Chiefs. We're also talking about Rashee Rice replacements, as we got some unfortunate news to get to on Rashee Rice coming up in just a bit. And we'll do a Q&A mailbag. Get your questions in using hashtag Chiefs or super chatting to get on today's show. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out. I saw you guys less than 24 hours ago, and we're already back here doing it again for this Tuesday live show. We do our Tuesday lives each and every week here on the channel, and even after a game last night, we still wanted to make sure that we got a live show in for you, as we always do. Let us know where you're at. We're checking in from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas, here on this fine Tuesday afternoon. I got Paul. He is in Tongi. Good to see you, Paul. Ty Man the Buckeye. I can hear you. I got a ton of static in my ear. Oh, wait, now it's fine. It's when you're moving it, I think, that it's. Okay. Yeah. It's all good. Big text working on the ones and twos, just figuring out some tech stuff here. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're at, and we'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling today. I got Ty Man the Buckeye, our newest moderator here on the channel. He's been given some great power and responsibility. He did a great job last night. Appreciate your help, Ty Man, from Ohio. Let us know where you're at. We'll shout you out as we get this show rolling today. So my question that I have for the Kingdom, 5-0 start, heading into the bye week. Are the Chiefs, without question, the best team in the National Football League? Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in the chat. Let us know what you think, if the Chiefs are that team or not. Tex, I feel very confident in saying the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL because you're 5-0. You've beat some good teams, and this team hasn't even come close to playing to their potential yet. I feel like this team still has a long ways to go, and that their best football is still in front of them. They have not even looked that great, to be honest, before last night. I thought last night was the best they've played all season, and yet here they are, 5-0, and I think this team's going to get better.
I mean, yeah, 5-0 is 5-0. That's
Okay. Tex says 5-0 is 5-0. He's all in on the Chiefs. He's abandoned his Dallas Cowboys. He's rooting for the Chiefs. So that's what Tex was saying there. So I'll interpret the best I can. But Tex is here with us, just working through some technical stuff on his side. Are the Chiefs the best team in the NFL? Y for yes, N for no. Paul says yes. Ty Man says yes. Continue to get your votes in and let us know. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, on our poll question, I have it up there. It says, should the Chiefs trade for a wide receiver? I don't see any poll results. I don't know why that is. If somebody else can see the poll results and report back to me, let me know. But I am not seeing any results come through on my end. So a little glitch issue there on that front. Nonetheless, let's tell you about today's sponsor. We are making this show possible thanks to our friends at Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. Those are deals you don't want to pass up on. They also have their seat views, so you can get the visual, see what that seat is like. And whether you're looking for tickets to Chiefs games, we got Royals playoff games now, among other things going on. Choose the event you want to go to. Choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy, the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right. We're off to a little bit of a quiet start. I'm not going to lie. I want to see as many C's in the chat over this next minute. Since Texas got this mic problem, I'll go ahead and give the shout-outs today. But I want to set the tone. This kind of helps the algorithm out, get this show out to as many people as possible. We do not want to be shadow banned, folks. All right? We are a anti-censorship program. We want this show to get out to as many people as possible. This will help the algorithm and promote the show out there. So go ahead and spam C. I want to see as many C's as we can. Who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP on today's show? And I'll give some shout-outs. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Spam C. I got Ty Man the Buckeye spamming C. I got Paul spamming C. I got Penno Fire and Carvings also in there. Paul, Ty Man, Penno Fire. Those are the only ones I'm seeing. Who else is here? Let's get some new people in here. Spam C. Come on, let's get some new people. I love that Paul and Ty Man and our fire guy are in there, but who else is going to get in on this? We can't have more than just 3 people spamming C. Like, where the hell is Tony at right now? Tony, wake up. Wake up. You never miss a live show, man. Where you at? That kind of signals to me that we might be getting shadow banned if I'm not seeing Paul in here. Or I see Paul in here, not seeing Tony in here. We have 20 seconds left. Keep spamming C. Faster, faster. Keep it going. There's a Penno Fire. Paul and Ty Man. Who else? Who else? I got 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes left. Or 10 seconds left. Ty Man says, haven't seen Tony since last night. Yeah, Tony was here last night. He was tweeting at me. He said he was going to be here for the live show today. Haven't seen Tony just yet. I'm sure he'll pop up eventually. So, there we go. All right, we're at 14 likes right now. When we get to 25, that is when we will start the program and get you caught up to speed on everything you need to know. Hit that like button if you love the Kansas City Chiefs. If you loved that win tonight for the Chiefs. Royals with a big win last night, too. Like the video to get this thing started. We're at 15, need to get to 25, and then we will get things going here on this Tuesday afternoon. Like the video to get the show started. 10 likes away, and then we'll get things going. While I'm waiting on the 10 likes before we begin today's show, let's tell you what is ahead here on this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. As we are talking about potential replacements for Rashee Rice, I got an updated list of potential targets the Chiefs could bring in via trade and free agency. We also will go over some news and rumors on some potential players the Chiefs could bring in during the bye week. And then we will do a Q&A mailbag. Get your questions in. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we will answer them all coming up here on today's show. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Haven't seen any questions come through just yet for the mailbag. There is still plenty of time, but the sooner you get your questions in, the more likely you are to get them answered on today's show. So, Paul, Ty Man, I've seen you guys very active in the chat. I've seen Penno Fire in the chat as well. Get your questions in. Foster, Chiefs, future MLB pitcher, everybody. Get those questions in. We'll include them in the mailbag that we'll do coming up at the end of the show. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our first segment today as we're talking about Rashee Rice. We'll give you the update on him and talk about potential replacement options for Kansas City. We'll begin there and get started here on this Wednesday afternoon. Glad to have you with us, Jonesy and Big Tex, here on this Tuesday afternoon. Let's get started here on this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report starting right now. You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We are talking an updated list of Rashee Rice replacements as we got some news to get to on that front in regards to Rashee Rice. It ain't looking good, folks. We'll tell you what's going on there and what the Chiefs could do next with some updated options for Kansas City. We'll talk about all that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Chiefs Kingdom, we are closing in on 60,000 subscribers here on the channel, just over 500 away from reaching that next milestone. For daily news and rumors, our live shows, Q&A mailbags, watch parties throughout the season, breaking news and more, it's all right here on the Chiefs Report. If you are a true member of the Chiefs Kingdom, you got to be subscribed to the Chiefs Report for the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every day. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and never miss a moment. All right, let's start with the latest on Rashee Rice. A new report coming out on Tuesday. The Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is out for the rest of the regular season with an LCL injury. This coming from Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report, who posted the following on X. Sources, Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice underwent successful LCL surgery today with Dr. Cooper and will miss the remainder of the regular season. A full recovery is expected. There was also repair done to Rice's hamstring tendon, and I'm told there was no structural damage or tears to the ACL or meniscus and no long-term concerns. This is the best-case scenario. So one key before I move on to the next graphic here is what he said about the regular season. He didn't quite rule out the possibility of Rashee Rice returning for the postseason. But as Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride of SB Nation reports, the postseason is probably unlikely for Rice as well. Listen to this from Sweeney. Confirming several reports of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice undergoing successful surgery on his LCL. The good news is no damage to the ACL, MCL, or meniscus, and there is an expectation of no long-term issues stemming from the injury. Rice's estimated recovery time is 4 months, but it could be reasonably stretched longer. There could be a clearer picture of Rice's outlook come December. So we'll know more when it comes to December, but here's what it comes down to. The best-case scenario for the Kansas City Chiefs for a potential return for Rashee Rice is in time for the postseason. And ideally, the Chiefs get the 1 seed, they get a bye week, and you push this off as long as potentially possible for Rashee Rice to return. That's the best-case scenario. Now, here's the worst-case scenario here, all right? We could be looking at a world where we don't see Rashee Rice put on a Kansas City Chiefs uniform again till mid-2025. Think about even if he recovers and it's after the season has wrapped up, when the Chiefs season ends, let's say that he's not ready back for the playoffs, well, he hasn't faced a suspension yet from the NFL for the ongoing shenanigans that occurred this past offseason, and that could be a suspension at the beginning of next year, so he could take that while he's fully healthy and then make his return at some point next year. It might be a long time before we see Rashee Rice playing for the Chiefs again. Basically, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs at this point, you have to start preparing as if you're not going to have Rashee Rice for a while, as if he's going to be gone for quite a bit, whether it's till the end of this year or part of next season. You have to go on business as usual without having Rashee Rice there. That's what the Chiefs are looking at the moment. So where do they go from here? The first name that comes to mind is Amari Cooper of the Cleveland Browns, who is being talked about in a lot of trade rumors right now on the trade block, with the trade deadline approaching in about a month. And there was a report earlier this week from Albert Breer of Monday Morning Quarterback from Sports Illustrated that said the Chiefs are going to experiment with what they got right now, and then by the trade deadline, they will make a decision of whether to make a trade or not, and Amari Cooper could be the guy they're exactly looking for. This would be a home run for the Kansas City Chiefs if they can land a guy of Amari Cooper's caliber. His salary works within what the Chiefs are looking at with the cap constraints, and his trade value, because he is 30 years old, a bit of an older receiver now, is not going to be as much as some of the other players that are out there, and he's still playing at an incredibly high level. A Pro Bowler as recently as 2023, five-time Pro Bowler in his career, previously with the Cowboys and the Raiders, was traded to the Browns in 2022. And you look at this Browns team, they have so many problems, so many issues right now that there's a decent chance they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline. Cooper, so far this season in 5 games played, has accounted for 20 catches, 208 yards, and 2 touchdowns, coming off a campaign where he had over 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns. This would be a big get for the Chiefs offense potentially if they can bring Amari Cooper in. Let's ask you on our pinned comment today, should the Chiefs trade for Amari Cooper? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in, let us know if you think they should make a move. Next up, we find Diontae Johnson of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers traded for him back in March from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Johnson has played better than I expected, personally speaking. I'll be honest, I was not high on him when he was on the trade market earlier this season from Pittsburgh. And you think about this situation in Carolina of just how much of a mess that team has been, from benching Bryce Young, going to Andy Dalton, and just not having very many weapons to work with there. Just a bad football team. Diontae Johnson has played very well so far in 2024. A Pro Bowler and a second-team All-Pro in 2019 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I would argue that the version that we're seeing of Diontae Johnson right now is the best that we have seen since that 2019 season he had with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So far this year, his numbers are actually even better than Amari Cooper's. 23 catches, 262 yards, and 2 touchdowns so far to begin the season. If you had to pick one to trade for, would it be Amari Cooper or would it be Diontae Johnson? Weigh in, let us know. Type AC for Amari Cooper. Type DJ for Diontae Johnson. Next up, we find Darius Slayton of the New York Football Giants. And you look at Darius Slayton, it's been very up and down for him in New York, but he hasn't had the best of situations with the Giants, with having to have Daniel Jones as your quarterback there. But he's coming off, I thought, was an impressive performance against the Seattle Seahawks this past week. It was one of the best games of his career. So he's got a little bit of a hot hand right now, and you could argue that maybe he's just now starting to come into his own. 4 career seasons with at least 724 receiving yards. The Chiefs have done business with the Giants at the trade deadline in the past. If you recall, they made a trade a couple of years ago to bring in Kadarius Toney, and ultimately, we know how things worked out with Toney, but Toney did help bring in, a Super Bowl in Kansas City, so it wasn't all bad with Kadarius Toney. But nonetheless, Slayton, so far this season, has accounted for 18 catches, 244 yards, and a touchdown score here in 2024. Another name, speaking of the New York Giants, we turn our attention to Jalen Hyatt, also on this list. And I look at Jalen Hyatt, kind of the same complaint that I have about Darius Slayton is that it's not all his fault for the former third-round pick, out of Tennessee. I don't think the Giants have used him right at all, that they have not played him to his full abilities, his full potential, as so far in his young career, he's only had 1 game with 100-plus receiving yards. You go back to November 26th, against New England was the last time he did that. 22 career games played so far with 9 starts. And you look at the numbers this year, it's been a goose egg. He has been just forgotten about as he's only had 3 targets. And there's a lot of talent there. I saw a very good receiver in Jalen Hyatt at Tennessee that I was excited about, and he's just been left for dead basically in this New York offense. I don't know who he pissed off or what happened there, but it's tough to explain. Who's a wide receiver the Chiefs should add? We've gone over a few. We got more to get to, but want to hear from you guys. Wait in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views so you can get the visuals. So if you want to go to some Chiefs games, maybe some Royals playoff games, all sorts of options for you. You choose the event you want to go to, choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, then you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Last on our list, we go to the free agent market, and this is where we find Michael Thomas, the former NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He's had a fantastic career, but a few injuries here and there has held him back. He's not the same player that he once was. That's why he's available for any team to sign right now. And the question that the Chiefs have to be asked themselves, that everybody wonders with Michael Thomas, is just how much does he have left in the tank? His statistics, we'll show you those here in just a bit, show that he's not the NFL Offensive Player of the Year receiver that he was in 2019. But if you're the Chiefs, you're not looking for that right now. You just need somebody to catch the football and make a decent impact, kind of like what Juju's done. If you can get another Juju, if Michael Thomas could do that, I'd be more than satisfied if that's the case. A 3-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, his best season, you go back to 2019. It's been a while, but you look at the numbers here, and I think there's a reason to be optimistic with what he did last season with over 400 receiving yards off of 39 catches, 1 touchdown, 11.5 yards of reception. I would take that on this Chiefs team. We'll see what they do. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Chiefs Report. We will see you next time. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. All right, that is one segment down. We got 2 more to go. Up next, we're going to talk some trade rumors, as we'll be talking about T. Higgins as well as Adam Thielen. Let's ask you, should the Chiefs trade for Amari Cooper? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in, let us know if you think they should trade for him or not. Checking in on the chat. I see Paul says pass. Guillermo says trade. Ty-Man saying pass. Ty-Man wants to keep him with the Cleveland Browns, so I understand where Ty-Man's coming from. Evan saying trade. A reminder, coming up in a moment, we'll do our mailbag segment. Get your questions in. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. And we certainly could use some more questions. Need plenty of questions out there. Like, I think I saw Paul earlier sending in a question, but he didn't use hashtag Chiefs. He went hashtag Chief. It's hashtag Chiefs to get your questions in or Super Chatting. Like, Wallace is asking me about DJ Moore. Put that in the mailbag, Wallace. Wallace, use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and I will elaborate further and share all my thoughts on DJ Moore. But I need you to use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and then we'll take care of you that way. So we'll cover that, but that's what you got to do to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Up next, let's talk about a potential trade for T. Higgins, also Adam Thielen. There we go, Wallace. That's how it's done. Thank you, Wallace. Be like Wallace and keep getting in your questions for that mailbag segment we'll be doing after this. I'll take a quick swig of my H2O. Yes. And we will get this segment started. Tex, we probably need, about 4 more questions? About 4 more questions. So while I'm doing this segment, 4 or 5. While I'm doing this segment, I want to see 4 or 5 questions come in. Like Nuke Man used hashtag Chiefs. That works. So about 4 or 5 more questions, and we will get to the mailbag segment after this one. But let's go ahead and get started with segment 2, our news and rumors on your Kansas City Chiefs. That begins right now. Here we go. Coming up on today's show, could the Kansas City Chiefs make a trade for T. Higgins? Is that on the table? We'll explain what exactly is going on there and break down the newest Chiefs trade rumor on the Bengals receiver coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, Adam Thielen, could he be a possibility for Kansas City? We'll explain what's going on in that situation on today's program. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Little fan survey for the kingdom out there. I want to know, how long have you been a Chiefs fan? If you've been a Chiefs fan for 5 years or more, go ahead and like today's video. I know I'm still the new guy here on the Chiefs Report, but doing this show for less than 90 days now, so I just need to survey the kingdom and get an idea where you guys are at when it comes to being Chiefs fans. Whether you're somebody that's been with this team all the way back to the Len Dawson days, maybe it's Alex Smith or Patrick Mahomes. Maybe you just came on board because you wanted to support Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I don't know. Like the video if you've been a Chiefs fan for 5 years or longer. If not, comment how long, tell us, and we'll get started with today's show. Fansided has named Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins as a top trade target for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know what you're thinking already. Wait a second. T. Higgins, I thought this wasn't an option. I thought that the Bengals had no interest in making the Kansas City Chiefs any better, that they were all in on this year. Well, time is relative, folks, and these things change pretty quickly. Listen to this from Fansided. Higgins has proven he can be a team's primary receiver if given the chance. The 25-year-old began his career posting 3 straight seasons with at least 65 catches, 900 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Injuries and Jamar Chase's presence have derailed that streak, but he'd slot into as the unquestioned alpha in Kansas City's sans Rice. However, it cost a pretty penny to acquire and extend him, and the Chiefs would have to extend him to make it worthwhile. So, before the season, there was no chance of this happening whatsoever. But things change. The Bengals, that team is dog shit. They are awful. That was supposed to be a team that was a serious threat, a contender in the AFC, and their chances to make the postseason are slim to none at this point. And with T. Higgins likely leaving in the offseason, you might as well potentially trade him at this point. And the Bengals, with all they're about to lose, with Higgins and Trey Hendrickson and others here, you might not worry about, all right, do we really want to make the Chiefs better when we're a long ways off ourselves? Now this is more of a possibility than it ever was before, with the Chiefs needing some receiver help, with T. Higgins looking for a new home to get paid, and then the Bengals potentially looking to get something out of Higgins. This might work and make sense. Higgins, a former second-round pick out of Clemson. He's had 3 career seasons with at least 900-plus receiving yards, and he's played a lot of football in his young career, 61 career games played with 55 starts. The production has been there. As you can see, 2022 and 2021, over 1,000 yards and at least 6 touchdowns in both of those seasons. So far this year, he's accounted for 18 catches for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. What would it take? The good news for Kansas City is the trade market at receiver has dwindled quite a bit. The Stephon Diggs trade kind of reset the market for better. So a trade for a wide receiver is cheaper now than what it was the last couple of seasons. I think right now, if the Bengals are willing to trade T. Higgins, which I think they're much more likely to now than they were previously, you could probably get him for about a 3rd-round pick potentially. Should the Chiefs trade for T. Higgins? You got 2 options here. Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in and let us know. The Chiefs Report is your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs, as we're bringing you our daily news and rumors. We have our live shows every Tuesday, watch parties on game days, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. If you are a real member of the Chiefs Kingdom, you got to be subscribed to the Chiefs Report. Help us reach our next milestone, closing in on 60,000 subscribers on the channel. And the best part about it, it's absolutely 100% free. Does not cost you a thing to subscribe to the Chiefs Report. Subscribe now, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Stay up to date. We got you covered here on the channel. Let's talk Adam Thielen now. Speaking of trade rumors involving the receiver position, they're just all over the place with this Chiefs team right now. And old man Adam Thielen is now one of the newest options for the Kansas City Chiefs, according to Sports Illustrated. Monday morning quarterbacks Albert Breer suggesting a potential trade for Thielen. Here's more. The Kansas City Chiefs plan at receiver examine what it looks like with Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, etc. at the position, and then plan toward the November 5th trade deadline. That's Election Day, by the way. The Tennessee Titans, DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks, and Panthers, Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson could have options for Kansas City should it get aggressive. The team certainly isn't counting on having Rashee Rice or Marquise Hollywood-Brown for the rest of the year, even if a glimmer of hope exists. And the discussion has been those guys potentially being back for the playoffs, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. When I look at potential options on the trade market, when I factor in the combination of talent level and cost, this is the most bang for your buck you're going to get. When I was going to college at the University of Kansas, I loved shopping at Checkers. And my people in Lawrence, they know all about Checkers. All that money you'd be saving at Checkers, I'd get those bananas for 25 cents. I could get me a six-pack of beer for $5 or $6. I mean, Checkers had the deals. And it wasn't the highest quality I could get. It wasn't like going to Dillon's, or it wasn't like going to Costco. But I got some deals at Checkers, and I was always satisfied every time I shopped at Checkers. If you bring in Adam Thielen, this is going shopping at Checkers. You're getting Checkers here. Checkers or Wreckers. I like this idea because of the low cost and a pretty decent talent level, all things considered, without having to give up too much here. Thielen, undrafted in 2013, signed with the Vikings and had a good run with the Vikes, was a two-time Pro Bowler, second-team All-Pro in 2017, joined the Panthers in 2023, and a lot of people thought his career was over. And even with all the instability at the quarterback position for the Carolina Panthers, he still has looked pretty decent there, playing alongside Bryce Young and Andy Dalton and company. And this could be a cheap temporary solution just for the time being for what the Chiefs are looking for. More on Thielen coming up in just a bit and breaking down this situation for the Chiefs. But I want to hear from you guys. Should the Chiefs trade for Adam Thielen? Type Y for yes and for no. Get in the comment section and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less. And here's what we're talking about, folks. Whether it's football with fantasy points, basketball, rebounds, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, there's all sorts of different categories to choose from. I had a big winner this week on Prize Picks. If you played along with me on Monday night, you made some money. I had Travis Kelce hitting the more on 59.5 receiving yards. Easy. I had Salvi hitting the more on 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Salvi came through big time against the Yankees. I put $20 down. I made $60 on this Prize Picks, folks. You can do the same. And Prize Picks is offering you quite the deal right now. When you spend $5, they are giving you $50 for free instantly. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Doesn't get any better than that. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. I don't think a trade for Thielen's going to cost that much. I think you're talking about giving up about a 6th-round pick is all it would take to bring in Adam Thielen, which is just a bargain. And he's got a relatively reasonable contract, too. Here's what I mean by Thielen still playing at a decent level. Last year, over 1,000 receiving yards, 103 catches, and he's a possession receiver. Look, I love me some Xavier Worthy. You guys know that. But he's not a possession receiver. He's not replacing Rashee Rice in that role. Adam Thielen could replace Rashee Rice in that role. Now, there is a possibility that the Chiefs roll with what they got. And I'll say this. I was very, very happily surprised with what I saw from the man with 3 names known as Juju Smith-Schuster. What's with hyphenated names, by the way? I know that he had that play that, should have been a touchdown but turned into an interception. But other than that, still had 7 catches for 130 yards. If Juju keeps this up, Xavier Worthy develops, and you got that guy Travis Kelce, you might be fine. You might be able to be good with what you got. But if not, as the trade deadline nears, less than a month away, the Chiefs have options, which is in a good position to be at if you're Kansas City, all things considered. All right, your chance to beat Brett Veach. All things are not created equal here. They never are. If you had to pick one to trade for, knowing the circumstances, would you trade for T. Higgins or would you trade for Adam Thielen? If you'd trade for T. Higgins, type T for T. Higgins. If you would like to trade for Adam Thielen, type Adam for Adam Thielen. 2 options. Choose wisely. You can only choose one. Let us know what you would do. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the program that we happen to call the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every day. Our daily news and rumors, our watch parties. I know it's a bye week, but believe me, folks, we are going to have plenty of content over the coming days. We will keep you alert and informed. If anything happens, you'll be the first to know about it right here on the channel. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. All right. Yeah. Pick one to trade for, T. Higgins or Adam Thielen. Which would you go with, all things considered? So I knew that, but it's still an eye-popping number. I mean, because he looks like he's old enough to be our dads. And to think, too, he was on a bad team with bad quarterback play. And here's another thing when it comes to Adam Thielen, too. Patrick Mahomes makes everybody better. Juju came to life. Kareem Hunt came to life. What could he do with Adam Thielen, potentially? To me, that's an intriguing proposition as far as that goes. So, folks, let us know. Would you rather go with T. Higgins or would you rather go with Adam Thielen? Chaz says T. Paul says T. Tyman says T. Bryson says T. Boomer, I like that name. Boomer Miller says T. Higgins. Weigh in, let us know which one you rather roll with. And we get our mailbag coming up in just a bit. I did see some questions come in. We still could use some more questions, though. I need about 2 more questions, and then we'll start the mailbag. I'm putting 2 minutes on the clock. I need about 2 more questions, and then we will get this show started. Our final segment before we wrap up and call it a day here on this Wednesday live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. A lot of fun last night, seeing the Chiefs get that win. I certainly enjoyed it. I know you guys enjoyed it. And heading into the bye at 5-0. I know historically speaking, Andrew has been very good in the month of September. But going into the bye undefeated, usually like when you get to the bye week, you're trying to do 2 things. You're trying to fix your flaws, for one, and you're trying to get healthy. And even though the Chiefs are undefeated, you still look at what's gone on the last few weeks, and there's plenty to still work on, even though you're undefeated. So it's a good spot to be. Boomer, that's a great question, but use hashtag Chiefs. He put it in earlier. Okay. Yeah. I need 2 more questions. Paul, Boomer, Ty Man, get some questions in. And then we'll get this mailbag started. Our final segment before we wrap up and call it a day. Obviously, no watch party this week with the Chiefs on a bye. But we will be back here next Sunday for Chiefs and Niners from Arrowhead Stadium. Or not from Arrowhead, from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Do people realize how far Santa Clara is from San Francisco? It's like, with traffic, like 2 hours. And yet they're still the San Francisco 49ers. They are closer to San Jose, California than they are to San Francisco. It's wild. Yeah, it blows my mind just how far they are away. But, the Bay Area has been kind of chasing people off. The Raiders are gone now. There's Evan with a question. That's one. Give me one more. Give me one more and we'll start. Raiders are gone. Yes, yesterday. Gotcha. We did get a couple questions, though. You did play. Let's see. Who else left San Francisco? Left the Bay Area. Raiders are gone. They're in Vegas. The A's are gone now. They're in Sacramento and going to try to get to Vegas. The Warriors ended up moving to San Francisco. Yeah, the Niners go all the way to Santa Clara here. I mean, just a dumpster fire, just a mess there in the Bay Area, and what they've done with their teams, just awful, awful. All right, mailbag time, final segment, and then we'll wrap up and we'll get out of here. As we'll call it a day here in just a bit. Our final segment. And then we'll sign off here on this Tuesday afternoon. Jonesy and Big Tex here with you. Let's go ahead and get started with our mailbag segment, which begins right now. You got questions, I got answers. You're in luck. It is time for another award-winning mailbag edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. And we are talking everything from potential trade ideas, reaction to the Chiefs' 5-0 start, and everything in between here on the channel today. And this comes from our live show that we do on Tuesday afternoons, where people submit questions to us in real time. We react to them, and we'll get started with the mailbag for this week in just a moment. But first, want to make sure not only you're subscribed to the Chiefs Report, but you're also a part of what we call around here the Noti Gang. Those are the real ones that not only are subscribed to the channel, but have their notifications turned on. That way they never miss a moment. Anytime we go live, they're alerted. They know it. Anytime we have new content, bam, they know it. Anytime there's breaking news, they get alerted right away. They have their notifications on, so they're locked in and loaded to the Chiefs Report. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Join the Noti Gang. Spam Noti Gang if you're part of the Noti Gang, and we'll get started with today's show. KC fans are the best. All writes in, could the Chiefs trade for George Pickens? That's an interesting idea. George Pickens of the Pittsburgh Steelers, very talented receiver. I like what I've seen from George Pickens early in his career. Had a fantastic rookie season. Was really good last year with over 1,100 yards. Made it a lot easier for the Steelers to trade off Deontay Johnson with how far George Pickens has come along. And he's off to a very good start to this season with 23 catches for 310 yards. I know his name's being thrown around in trade rumors. I'll say this, I don't like George Pickens' attitude. I think that's the big thing of why his name is coming up in trade rumors for the Steelers is you see what happened at the end of the game against the Cowboys when he's grabbing a guy's helmet after the final whistle's already blown. And just some of his other antics, I think that's not the Steeler way. And the reality is that's not the Chiefs way. So, with that said, I still don't think the Steelers are trading him. But even if he were available, I think the price tag would be very high. And I don't know if he necessarily fits into the culture of the Kansas City Chiefs with just the way that he's handled himself on the field as far as that goes. What do you guys think? If it's a possibility, if the Chiefs could bring in George Pickens, should they do so? Type T for trade, P for pass. Way in the comment section, let us know. Terrence writes in, need a wide receiver and left tackle helps badly. Who should we target? Well, let's start with the tackle position first. It is extremely difficult to find help this late in the ball game on the offensive line, specifically at tackle. There's one name, and one name only, that I think the Chiefs should consider when it comes to left tackle help, because you're not going to be able to likely trade for a quality tackle at the deadline. But David Bakhtiari is sitting out there, and this is somebody that's played at a high level, that's won a championship, that's been very successful, and he's made it known he wants to play for a contending team. And when he said it at the time, everybody kind of raised their eyebrows a bit like this. And thinking that, oh, he wants to play with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. With that said, if it's for the right cost, Bakhtiari would be very interesting to bring into Kansas City. That's the name to watch. The receiver position, there's all sorts of possibilities. We've talked about this a lot over the last several days, from Amari Cooper to Jalen Hyatt to Darius Slayton to Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson. If the Chiefs want to bring in a receiver, there's a plethora out there to choose from. Left tackle going to be a little tougher, but I would certainly keep tabs on Bakhtiari. Let's go to Evan now. Why aren't we using Xavier Worthy more? All right, let me explain this. So, I love Andy. I do. Andy is the best coach in the NFL. He is one of the best things to ever happen to the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think that they are getting a little gimmicky with Xavier Worthy. All right? You didn't use a first-round pick on Xavier Worthy for him just to be a gadget player. All right? You didn't use a first-round pick to go get a faster Taysom Hill, essentially. All right? That's not what you signed up for. So I think Andy just has to find more ways to get him involved. And let me say this. He's not Rashee Rice, and that's okay. They have two completely different styles of play. Rashee Rice is a possession receiver that does a really good job of getting open in space at the middle of the field, getting, 8, 9, 10 yards at a time. Xavier Worthy's a speed guy. He's more like Tyreek was than what Rashee Rice is. Getting open downfield, getting the big plays, using him on the jet sweeps, and all that stuff there. That's what Xavier Worthy's good for. So, for me, it's the Chiefs' offense just evolving and trying to find more ways with Xavier Worthy to be consistent in that sense. And I think they will as time goes on. They'll figure it out. Xavier Worthy's been very good to start the year, but they just got to do it more. And I think you're never going to turn him into Rashee Rice, but I would like to see him used more as a possession receiver to an extent as well to find that happy medium. F. the Raiders says, what about a trade for DeAndre Hopkins? DeAndre Hopkins is interesting. I think he's pretty old now at this point. Got released by the Arizona Cardinals last year. They tried trading him. Nobody wanted to trade for him. And he goes to Tennessee, and he's been decent with Tennessee. But, it's one of those deals where I sit here and I say, what does he have left in the tank? But, we asked that with a couple different guys the Chiefs brought in. Kareem Hunt, it's been nice. Juju? Freaking Juju has looked good the last couple of weeks. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins is that next piece. Maybe he is that next guy. Just keep him for the year. See what he does. Potentially go from there. I don't hate the idea. Shouldn't cost you a ton. Titans are terrible. They're looking to unload a lot of things. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to DeAndre Hopkins. Should the Chiefs trade for D-Hop? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, N for no. Get your opinions in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered. Chiefs games, Royals playoff games, everything in Kansas City. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, get the visual, see if you like that seat or not. And then you are checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Got time for a couple more here. Let's start with Evan. Evan says, is Kareem Hunt good for real? Yes. No reason to think otherwise. I like what I've seen from Kareem Hunt. He's not breaking off runs for 15, 20, 25 yards, but that's okay. He's getting 3, 4, 5 yards a carry, running for 100 yards last week, showing a little bit of burst as well. I have no complaints from what I've seen from Kareem Hunt. And credit to Kareem Hunt and the interior of this offensive line. I'm not giving any credit to the tackles because they've been a disaster, but give credit where credit's due to the interior with Creed Humphrey leading the way of being able to create run lanes and letting these guys work. I like what I've seen from Kareem Hunt. I have no reason to think he'll slow down. Chaz writes in, thoughts on Jawan Taylor, most penalized in the NFL. Most penalized player in the league since 2023. Awful. Disgusting. And it's not just the penalties. He's been terrible when it comes to blocking. His PFF grades are just atrocious. They've been bad. I've been very disappointed with Jawan Taylor, and I think the Chiefs got to consider benching him. If they're not paying him $80+ million, whatever it is, for that type of crap he's putting on the football field, I'm extremely disappointed. Terrence writes in, is Amari Cooper available in Cleveland during the trade deadline? Potentially. Let's see where the Browns season goes from here. If it is a possibility, by all means, I would try to snag him up. I don't know if it is for real right now, but let's just see how things go from here. The Browns have a lot of problems. I'm keeping an eye out on Amari Cooper. Watch out. I think he would be a great fit for Kansas City and what they're wanting to do. Last question. Love Kelsey wants to know, who was your MVP from the Chiefs versus Saints? You know, there's a lot of different options I could have gone with, but I got to shout out Kareem. 100 yards rushing. What he did on the ground, getting his first rushing touchdown since joining the Chiefs, I was very pleased. And to think, too, I think when Isaiah Pacheco went down, Pacheco's been one of the best backs in football the last few years. They've run the offense through Isaiah Pacheco. He has been the bell cow. Primarily, the way they changed this offense up in the last few years is that they run the ball to open up the pass. And with losing Pacheco, not having an obvious option, with Clyde not there, with P. Ryan new to this system, Steele, of course, with his fumbles, they needed somebody to step up. And Kareem Hunt has done what's been asked of him and then some. I like what I've seen from Kareem Hunt. It's an incredible story, and hopefully he gets that ring this year that he missed out on after the departure several years ago. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Chiefs Report. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. We're just about done. We're ready to get out of here. Follow me on X at Tyler Jones Live for more Chiefs coverage. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys joining us. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. So long.